welcome back to the GSMC Baseball Podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. We have a great show for you today. We'll be covering 4 different topics, the first one being the Red Sox extending star young pitcher Brayan Bello. We'll be talking about that first. Then for segments 2 and 3, we'll be talking about the new spring training breakout games. We'll be splitting that to 2 segments, you'll see why. And finally, some spring training standings as well. So before we do that, I'd like to ask you to please like and follow the show. It really does help a lot. We get a number of questions from viewers, so to ensure that your question does get read in the air, please use the link gsmcpodcast.net. Make sure to subscribe to the channel to not only see my great content, but everyone else, all the other creators on this channel, they make great content as well. So thank you so much for that, and let's get into our first segment here. And our first segment is going to be about Brayan Bello and the Boston Red Sox. So yesterday I talked about this a little bit, which was that the Red Sox and Brayan Bello were discussing an extension for the young star pitcher for Boston. It was part of my other note segment because they were just discussing it and they said they gotten far, but we didn't really know if it was going to fully happen yet. Like, we didn't know if it was official. Today we know it is Kylie McDaniel and John Morosi, two fairly reliable guys. Morosi not really that reliable when it comes to Plains and the Toronto Blue Jays, but we still give him a pass. So yeah, they extended him, and this is just going to be my thoughts on it. So first, the contract itself is 6 years, $55 million. It has a 7th-year club option for $21 million, assuming all the years are activated and including the club option at the end. It covers 2 years of his free agency, as well as, of course, the arbitration and tendering deadline as well, which was going to be in his contract before he hits free agency like everyone else. So yeah. That's what the contract is. Personally, I'm a huge fan of this deal. I love this deal for the Red Sox. I think getting him at 6 years, $55 million is an absolute steal of a contract for a guy I'm really high on. The 7th year as well, $21 million. We don't know where we're going to be with baseball contracts at that point in the future. And I think getting that is definitely a steal. I mean, he could be one of the best pitchers in baseball at that time, and you would have him for only $21 million. So, I personally think it's a great deal for the Red Sox. I've talked a lot about this show about Brayan Bello. I don't know why that is. I think it's just how the cards have fallen. Simply put, that we've talked about the Red Sox a lot, and because of that, we have to talk about Brayan Bello a lot because he is one of their better players, one of their better young players. If you've listened to the podcast a good amount, you know I am extremely high on Brayan Bello. I think he's a superstar in the making. I love his pitches. I think there's some of the best pure pitchers in baseball. I think he has a lot of room to grow as well. And also, going off that, I think the Red Sox did a lot to help him this offseason. Hiring pitching coach Andrew Bailey, I think, is one of the better guys in the business. I think that was a great one as well. So I think that was a great deal to help the Red Sox as well, and not only the Red Sox, but Bello as well. Like I said, I really believe in Bello. I think this is the guy that's going to be a future ace of the staff for the Red Sox, or whatever team he's pitching on. I assume it'll be the Red Sox now that they've extended him. But yeah, I'm very high on Brayan Bello. I think he's going to be a future superstar in this league, and I think he's shown that over the past few seasons. I think the Red Sox made a great decision here. I mean, this contract, in my opinion, is really cheap. If he plays up to his potential and he becomes what I believe he will become, and obviously what the Red Sox believe he will become, I think this is an absolute steal of a deal. One of the things, I was watching the Red Sox Braves game today on ESPN before I went on the show, and they had Craig Breslow on, who is the Red Sox GM, and Breslow mentioned something that I think is also a very important aspect when you have to look at this deal, which is the fact of the Red Sox have had a lot of criticism for not having homegrown talent, and specifically homegrown pitching. And Bello represents both of those things in one. Bello is a homegrown pitcher. He's a homegrown prospect who rose through the ranks, got people excited, came up and did his thing. He obviously hasn't pitched up to his full potential yet, but even so, even with his first years in the big leagues, he hasn't been that bad. You can see the building blocks of his future being there already. And again, going back to the homegrown thing, I don't think a lot of people want to admit it, but I do think being homegrown, playing for a team you went through your whole career with, I think that is very important. I think that it is something teams will pay a lot for. I think that if you are a homegrown player, they will pay more for you. Like the Mets, going off an example with this, they have Pete Alonso hitting free agency. Obviously, it's been a little while since they've had a homegrown superstar. I think Maybe Brandon Nimmo is the last guy and he's still on the team. I mean, DeGrom as well, but obviously he left, so I think the Mets are going to have to pay a little bit more for Pete Alonso just because he is homegrown, because the fans are more attached to him. The fans run this business because they bring in the money. So I think you have to cater to the fan base, and I think a lot of fan bases like homegrown stars. They like seeing a guy come through the ranks of the minors, go to the major leagues with the same team, and become a star. And I don't blame them. I mean, that's really cool. I've seen it with the Mets multiple times. I've seen it with other teams as well. It is very, very cool. It's a very cool thing. Sorry for the crinkling. So yeah, I think that's something you have to pay for if you're a team. You have to realize that this is the reality of the situation you're in. You have to pay more if they're a homegrown guy, which Bello is. Not only that, homegrown pitching. Pitching is so hard to develop. I don't think a lot of people understand how hard pitching is to develop with the injuries they go through, the stress on their arm by the time they're young, especially high school guys or guys who have been signed internationally that were young when they signed. They have a lot of stress in their arm already, and it's always really hard to not only get a pitcher healthy throughout his minor leagues and go up to the big leagues and keep going, but keep them good with all the stress that's on them and all the ways they've had to perform. So I think having Bello here, extending him, making him a big part of your future, having him as a guy a Red Sox fan can point to and say, okay, this is a guy we're building around. This is a franchise cornerstone. I think it's very important. Bello's going to start opening day, I assume now, especially with the unfortunate Lucas Giolito news, which you've talked about it the past few days now. So I think that's even more important as well. Definitely big news here for the Red Sox. Again, I love the deal. I think it's a great deal. I think it's a great move. I'm really excited for Red Sox fans. I'm finally getting some news, and I'm excited for Brayan Bello. He's a young kid, gets his big payday already. I think that's something that's really important to a lot of players nowadays. He's getting your payday early because you never know what could happen with your career. Looking at recent examples, Cody Bellinger, he didn't get the deal he wanted. Matt Chapman, Blake Snell, Jordan Montgomery. Obviously, those are different kinds of examples because they're free agents, and Bello is a young prospect who's still coming up. But I think it's just an indictment of how crazy baseball can be, how much you don't know what's really going on. You don't really know what could happen in your career. These guys thought they were going to get mega contracts, and they're settling for 1, 2 year, 3 year deals. So, I think it's really interesting with that kind of stuff. I mean, you look at so many players who have turned down early extensions and then not gone on to perform that well. I think it's very jarring, and I think it's something that a lot of young players are seeing, and they don't want it to happen. I think of recent examples now of Corbin Carroll, of Julio Rodriguez, guys like that who have been extended early. And, Brayan Bello is just another guy coming in with that type of situation. Also, with this, I think it's more difficult to extend a starting pitcher because of the reasons I've mentioned. From what I've said, the fact is starting pitchers just have more wear and tear on their arm. They're more likely to get injured, more likely to not perform that well in the future. So I think the Red Sox extending Bello here, with him being a starting pitcher, with all the things I've mentioned, I think that it shows how much they like him, how much they enjoy him, and how much they want to build around him. So I'm really excited to watch Bello in the future with the Red Sox, and what's going to happen with him, and where his career goes, and how this extension affects him. So yeah, super excited about that. And that's what I wanted to say about Bello. So because of that, we're going to go into just now the Red Sox and how it affects them for the future and this year as well. So looking for the future, I think one thing the Bello extension does bring is that you solidify that pitching rotation a little bit more. After Bello, you don't really have any long-term guys. I mean, I've talked about the Red Sox a lot and their pitching staff a lot, but just to recap, you have Nick Pivetta, you have Tanner Houck, you have Garrett Whitlock, guys like this who, they're good players, but I just don't think any of them are in the long-term future for the Red Sox. I think Bello is, and I think they've shown that Bello is now with this extension. So it's not really that surprising that he is getting this extension. But you now solidify your ace of the future. You don't have to spend huge money in free agency to be able to solidify that rotation. You guys got guys like Corbin Burns, like Max Fried coming up next offseason. You're not now forced to pay them the big bucks because you have no one at the top of that rotation. I still think the Red Sox should get someone. I think a Jordan Montgomery is so perfect for them. I think he's a great number 2 behind Bello when Bello does go and develop in the future. But at the same time, you're not overly forced now because you have the simple fact of re-signing your star young pitcher who's going to be a big factor for you in the future. So yeah, definitely some great news for Red Sox fans, and I think it really helps their future. I think it really helps their outlook. I think a lot of Red Sox fans are kind of being bleak with their future, where they are this year, I should say. And I think having Bello here for the long run really helps that. He's gonna be there when your young core comes up, like Marcelo Mayer, Kyle Teal, Cedeno Rafaela, Nick York, other guys as well you draft. So yeah, Red Sox fans finally have a building block in that organization, especially in the pitching core. I mean, you had, again, Rafael Devers in the hitting. You have Tristan Casas, who's a really good guy, who you could probably build around. You have Wilyer Abreu, who I think is important. But you don't really have anyone in the pitching staff, and I think Bello represents that. And great job by the Red Sox to be able to do that and get him extended. And really, really good job by them, and I'm glad they finally have a plan for their organization, and they're moving forward with it. So good for them. Just the Red Sox outlook for this year. I've talked about the Red Sox so much on this podcast. I don't know why it's come to that, but it has. So I'm gonna sound like a broken record here, but I wanted to touch on it because we did have some Red Sox news, and that is, I don't have them. I have them being the worst in the AL East. Now, again, they're not a horrible team. They're not even a bad team. They're just not that good. They're just the definition of mediocrity right now. And in a division where you have the Rays, the Blue Jays, the Orioles, the Yankees, with all these, with what they've added, specifically the Orioles and the Yankees, you're not going to be that high. Like yesterday, I think I had them barely top 10 in the AL, which is, not really that great because there are only 15 teams in the AL, of course. So, not great for this season, but hopefully they can improve in the future. Again, I think Bello being extended really helps him be kind of more chill now. He can just focus on playing baseball. He doesn't have to work on the contract situation, because I knew we talked about it a while ago as well, not even yesterday, like a week or so before, that he was talking about an extension with the Red Sox. So this is something that's obviously been in the works for a little while. So really excited for him to get that off his shoulder, to not worry about it anymore, and have a place for him in his future, his family as well. Can build, a home there. I think that's always really important for a player to know you're going to be at a place for a long time. Bello now knows that, and it's definitely really exciting for the Red Sox, for Bello, and everyone involved. And great job by Craig Breslow to get this done. He's gotten a lot of flack for what he hasn't done this offseason, but the moves he has done, I liked. I thought Giolito signing was okay before he went under. Obviously, he's not supposed to know that would happen. I like the Tyler O'Neill trade a lot. I like them on the signings they did in the bullpen. I think they should have gone after more guys, but again, I think that's more of an ownership decision than him. So the moves he has done, including now this Bello extension, I am excited about, and I think he's done a good job with. So, good job by Craig Breslow, and good job by the Red Sox to get this done. So that's our first segment here today. We'll be going to break, but our second segment is going to be about Cactus League breakout games. We're going to explain more about what this is going into our next segment. So, because I think a lot of people don't really know about it. So, we'll be talking about that, and see you after the break. Thanks.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits. I'm losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip. You choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind?
All right, we're back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast, bringing you our second segment. But before we do that, I'd like to ask you again to please like and follow the show. Make sure your question gets read, gsmcpodcast.net. It really does help me, really does help everyone a lot. So thank you so much for that, and let's get into our second segment here. So our second segment is going to be about Cactus League, and specifically the breakout games happening in MLB baseball right now. So this was something I had on my radar for a little bit that I thought was really cool. So basically what the breakout games are in baseball right now is that it is a collection of a lot of teams' breakout players in spring training and top prospects, and they're playing other teams' top prospects. I think it's a really, really cool idea. I think it's a way of getting fans involved in their prospects and just teams involved in their prospects as well. So yeah, I mean, I think it's something that's really exciting and something I'm really looking forward to. And yeah, I just wanted to go over it a little bit. So let's start off with our Cactus League game. So first game we have is Reds Rangers. So that's a nice game. You know, two really good young teams that I think are really good, and I think are going to be looking forward to watching. So just going over like players I think to watch for the Reds roster first. You have Rhett Loader, who is the number 2 prospect for the Red system according to MLB Pipeline. All this is going to be according to MLB Pipeline. I know a lot of people don't like them, but I think they're okay, and they don't cost money for a subscription, so going to be using them. And they're not horrible. So, yeah, number 32 prospect in baseball. He was a recent draft pick by them. Really excited to watch him. I think he's a really good pitcher for the future, and a guy I'm really excited to look forward to if you're a Reds fan. Ty Floyd as well, a guy they picked out of LSU in this year's draft. A guy I wanted the Mets to pick. I think he's really good. I think he's going to be up in the big leagues rather soon. I think that's definitely a guy to watch. I think he has great pure stuff, and I just think he's a really good player. Infielders now, you have Edwin Arroyo, who is one of the top prospects in baseball, top 100. Yeah, I think he's a great middle infield prospect. Great hit tool, great fielding, good speed. The Reds have so many of these hybrid kind of, middle infield prospect kind of guys, so not surprising they have more. Other than that, you have Cam Collier, who is a recent first-round pick. He's kind of struggled going into the minor leagues, but still a good player, still a guy I have faith in, so not too worried. And finally, in the outfield, one guy I would look for is Hector Rodriguez. I'm a guy who came over on a small trade with the Mets a few years ago and has performed really well since coming over to the Reds organization. Definitely worked out for the Reds, and he isn't ranking that high in their organization, but I think he's a guy who could be a good hit in the future and a guy I'd look for. All right, so going to the Rangers now. Some pitchers I would look for. They have a lot, actually. So the first one, of course, I would look for is Brock Porter. He's their top pitching prospect, one of the top pitching prospects in baseball. Number 88 MLB Pipeline for overall prospects. Yeah, great stuff. Great pitcher. I thought he was going to be one of the prospects involved in the trades last year when they acquired all those guys at the deadline, including Scherzer. So, yeah, but a great pitcher, a guy I'm really looking forward to watching. I think is really good. After that, you, of course, have Jack Leiter, who was the second overall pick a few years ago. Has really, really struggled since coming to MLIB. Really unprecedented. I don't really remember someone struggling as much as him for where he got drafted. I mean, he has just not been that good. I was really high on him. I thought he'd be really good, and he just has really, really struggled. So maybe he can show everyone he's got his old self back in the breakout roster game. So yeah, definitely looking forward to watching him and seeing if he has any improvements on his career. For infielders now, there's a lot. There's 2 mainly I want to focus on. The first one is Sebastian Walcott, number 3 prospect in the organization, number 71 in MLB. This is a guy I absolutely love. His raw athleticism and tools are insane. Power hitting shortstop, a guy I really, really am high on in the future. I think he's going to be really, really good. I think he'd be up sooner rather than later. I'm thinking maybe even early 2026, late 2025. Yeah, a guy I really, really like, a guy I'm really high on for the future, and I think definitely someone to watch if you want electric athletes. Definitely watch Sebastian Walcott. Justin Fausk is another guy I'd watch. A former top prospect for the Rangers, kind of fell off a little bit. Still a good prospect, still a good player, but at the same time has kind of fallen off from the pedigree that he once had with Texas. But I think maybe he could look to rebound and get his career back on track. Next we have Aaron Zavala, who's a high prospect, but I liked him coming out of the draft. I think he's a guy who's a nice hit tool and could be looking good towards the future. So definitely someone I'd watch the Rangers, even if he isn't the highest on the board or for prospect rankings. So next, we're going to be talking about our next Tactics League game, which is the Battle of Chicago, quote-unquote. It is the White Sox-Cubs. First, checking out the White Sox roster here. So first, we're going to go to pitchers, of course. The first guy I'll be looking at for them, I think I'll be looking at right now Jordan Leisure. They don't have that many top starting pitching prospects, to be honest. They have Kai Bush, but I'm not sure why he isn't on the roster. I'm going to check right now, actually, but Mason Leisure right now is the top prospect. He's been, for the top pitching prospect playing in this, he's been sorry, I don't know what's going on with me. He's one of their top pitching prospects. He's had a great spring training. A guy they think can be the closer of the future for the White Sox. So, definitely someone I want to watch. Definitely someone I think is going to be really interesting. I can't find why Kai Bush is not on the roster. I could be wrong about that. I'll let you know. But maybe I'm having a brain fart or something. But Jordan Leisure, definitely someone I would watch here. Other than that, we're gonna go to catchers now. We're gonna start off with one of their top prospects in Edward Cuero. Cuero was a top Angels prospect for a little while. A guy I thought profiled as the future of catcher there before they got Logan O'Hoppe. But he was traded in that disastrous Lucas Giolito, Reynaldo Lopez trade for the White Sox for 1 month of those guys. Then they got released so they could save money. A guy I really like for the future, Edward Cuero. It made sense. I understand why the Angels gave him up because they have O'Hoppe, but still a great prospect in my opinion. Still a guy to look forward to for the future if you're a White Sox fan. Could use some help developing a catcher defensively a little bit, like every young catcher. But I'm not really that worried. So, still definitely looking forward to watching him, and I definitely am definitely excited. For infielders, you know who I'm going to talk about. It's Colson Montgomery, top prospect in the White Sox organization. Easy top 10 prospect in baseball. I've mentioned him a lot. I love this guy so much. Sweet swinging shortstop. Is really, really good with the bat. Is just an electric athlete, electric guy, and someone I'm really looking forward to watching. And I think it's going to be really, really good for the future. No real outfield prospects I want to talk about, but those are the guys for the White Sox organization that I'm looking forward to. Next, we're going to go to the Cubs. So for the Cubs, the first guy I'm going to be looking at, we're going to start off with pitchers again, of course. Definitely Cade Horton. One of the top pitching prospects in baseball. A guy that is really electric with his stuff. Really, really great. He's really, really good. I can't say enough about Cade Horton. But definitely, if you're a Cubs fan or a baseball fan, Cade Horton's a guy to watch. For infielders, I definitely look at Matt Shaw. First round pick recently for them. Number 5 prospect in their organization. Number 54 in baseball. A guy I really think is going to be a future part of that team. He's had a great spring and could even make the roster. I doubt it, but anything can happen really. I'm really looking forward to watching him in the future, and I think he's going to be really, really good. Outfielders, I want to mention 3 guys. First, I'm going to mention Owen Kassie. I always pronounce his name wrong, so if I did pronounce it, I apologize. It is Kaissie, so let me know if I said that wrong. A guy I really like. I think he's a sweet swinging lefty outfielder. I think he's a lot of good speed, a lot of good athleticism, good defense as well. So definitely a guy I'm looking towards as a guy to watch in the future, and really excited about him. Kevin Alcantara as well, another top prospect in the Cubs organization. Another guy I'm looking forward to watching. I think he's really, really good. I think he has a lot of good traits. And finally, Brennan Davis for the Cubs, a guy who was a top prospect a long time ago for them. Really never found his way, and kind of has struggled. But hopefully he can bounce back and be really good again. So I'm looking forward to that. Next, we have the Battle of the Bay. Going from the Battle of Chicago, we have the Giants and A's. Battle of the Bay for now, I guess, considering A's won't be there for long. But talking about the Giants first here. So not really many pitchers I want to talk about. I think Carson Seymour is a guy. He's not bad. Also Joe Whitman. Both guys are okay. Don't really stand out, but I like their pure stuff. I like what they've got going for them. So both of those guys are guys to watch here. No one really in the infield or catcher, but outfield, I want to talk about Bryce Eldridge. Bryce Eldridge, man, oh man, is this guy a stud. I mean, he's super tall, a great hitter. I think a guy to really look forward to for the future. A guy I think is super, super good. I think going to be a top prospect in baseball for a little while now. Is going to be one. Sorry. So yeah, definitely looking forward to him and watching him as well. Going to the A's here. Sorry, we taking a lot of time on this. I didn't realize how long this would take, because this is going to be a little bit of a long segment. So the A's, yeah. Not many people to talk about here. Jacob Wilson, who's their top prospect, he's in there. I'll also talk about him. He's pretty good. Good hitting tool, good guy. They drafted in the first round. Max Muncy as well, not the Dodgers guy, but their guy. He's also pretty good. Yeah, not much to say about the A's. They're really bad. No, I'm not gonna talk about them much further after that. So yeah. We're going to go to Padres Mariners here, battle of West Coast teams. So we're going to go to the Padres first. They have a lot of guys. Oh boy, wow. So let me take a drink of water here first. Sorry. So yeah, first guy I want to talk about is Robbie Snelling. This is a guy that's been in the Padres organization for a little while now. A really nice young pitcher they've had. A guy I think has a lot of potential with them. Really excited to watch him. Nice lefty pitcher. Dylan Lesko, another pitching prospect I really want to watch. A guy who was taken high in the draft, who I thought should have been taken a little higher. I thought they got a steal with him. Yeah, super athletic. Just great pitches. Great guy. Looking really much forward to watching him and seeing what he can do. Drew Thorpe as well. Obviously got him in the big Soto trade with the Yankees. So yeah, definitely watching him. Catchers. I mean, you have to talk about Ethan Salas. I mean, this guy's a phenomenon. He's 17, playing in spring training, getting hits. He could make the roster by next year when he's 18. Like, that's insane. Like, this is a guy you're going to hear a lot about in the future. Going to be might be the top prospect in baseball after Jackson Holiday goes to the big leagues. I think he could jump a lot of people. So, yeah, absolutely looking forward to watching Ethan Salas. This guy's insane. If you haven't heard of him, look him up. He's a phenom as a teenager. Jackson Merrill, of course, talked about him a lot. Great shortstop prospect, one of the better prospects in baseball. So definitely looking forward to watching him. They're playing the Mariners. Looking out for the Mariners here. Definitely looking forward to watching Harry Ford, their catcher. Nice prospect for them. Was a first round pick a little while ago. Definitely a guy to watch. I think he has a lot of great tools going in for him in the future. He also has versatility, so he could play other than catcher if it's needed. Yeah, definitely a guy to watch, and definitely someone really excited to see how it happens with him. Infielders now, we have Colt Young and Colt Emerson. Sorry, Cole Young, not Colt. Not two Colts. That would have been crazy. But, yeah, Cole Young and Colt Emerson, top prospects for the Mariners, both infield prospects. Nice guys who I think have a lot of promise for their future. So, yeah, definitely looking forward to watching them and seeing what they can bring for baseball and for their teams as well. We're going to try to speed through these four quickly here because I didn't realize how long this segment would take, so I apologize. Yeah. So we're going to go. We have the Battle of Ohio now. I like that they're going into the rivalries a little bit with, we've had the teams before with White Sox and Cubs. Now we have the Battle of Ohio with Reds and Guardians. Guardians here, not many prospects you want to talk about. Really, the only two are first you have Kyle Manzardo, who I don't need to mention. You guys know how good he is. I mentioned him so much. Lefty first baseman, so good. Such a guy I'm really super high on for the future, and I'm really excited to watch. I think can be the future power bat for that Guardians team, and I'm really looking forward to watching him. Khalil Watson is another guy I'm really interested to watch as well for the Guardians. This is a guy who was a top pick by the Marlins. Was traded after some not successful seasons there because of character concerns. Didn't play very well as well. So, definitely someone to watch. For the outfield, Chase DeLauder. This is a guy who's come onto a lot of people's radars in the past, in the future, and recently actually I should say. A guy who hits the ball super far, great swing, top prospect in their organization. Really, really good. And a guy I think any baseball fan should be looking forward to. So Chase DeLauder, definitely a guy to watch here. Going to their counterpart, the Reds. Oh wait, sorry, I did the Reds. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm gonna go back here. But I don't know. I guess they're playing twice. That's interesting. Okay, I didn't realize that. I don't know why I'm just realizing that now. That's my fault. But going to a NL West showdown here, we have Diamondbacks Rockies. Diamondbacks here, we have we have a few guys to watch. Really, the main two, main few I would say right now. First, you have Jordan Lawler, who I've talked about a little bit on this podcast, as well as being a guy that can be a big prospect for the Diamondbacks, be a future stud for them. A guy I'm looking forward to seeing can be the future of the shortstop position for the Braves. The Diamondbacks. Sorry, I don't know what's wrong with me right now. But definitely I'm looking forward to watching in Jordan Lawler. I think he's going to be super, super good. Top prospect in the league. Tommy Troy as well, another middle infield prospect. A little bit lower rated than Lawler, as Lawler's in the top 11. Troy's number 74. So, but he's still a really good player. Really looking forward to watching him. think he's really good. So someone else to watch if you're a baseball fan. And, of course, we have Drew Jones in the outfield. Another top pick from the Diamondbacks. Hasn't really performed to his standard so far in the minor leagues. He's also Andrew Jones' kid, which is you have to mention. He's not performed well after being the second overall pick, but maybe in this breakout game he can show what he's made of and show that he is the guy that they drafted second overall. So, definitely looking forward to watching Drew Jones and seeing if he can come back. Next, we have the Battle of Los Angeles. First we have the Dodgers, who stole Shohei Ohtani from the team they're playing, the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Sorry for moving around if you're watching on stream. The Angels don't have... this is the Dodgers, sorry. They don't have much to look at here right now. Really, the only guy I would look for big is Dalton Rushing, who's their top prospect. All the prospects have really come up. They've had such a good prospect system for years that it's finally time for them to have a less than ideal one, but it's still pretty good, to be honest. Definitely got to watch. A top catching prospect, one of the better in baseball. Nice lefty hitting guy. Definitely looking forward to watching him. Also, some other guys, not going to go into them much, but Trey Sweeney is someone I would watch. Jackson Ferris as well. Zaire Hope. Those are guys I would watch as well. Going to the Angels now. They have an okay farm system. It's not great, but it's not absolutely awful. The top guy I would watch here is probably Nelson Rada. He's their top prospect in this game, number 2 in the organization. A nice hitting outfielder that I think can be a big part of the Angels' future, and a big part of that nice young hitting core that I do like. So definitely looking forward to watching Nelson Rada of the Angels prospects. The Brewers. Final game here, Brewers Royals. I would watch Jacob Misiorowski. The top pitching prospect, a great guy to watch for the future. I think is going to be really, really good. Robert Gasser as well, a guy they got in the Josh Hader trade. That's super good. Jefferson Cuero, we talked about his brother before, but he's also really good himself. Tyler Black's really good. Of course, the man, the myth, the legend, Jackson Chourio, who has an extension already with how good he is. So those are the guys I would watch for the Brewers. Definitely, of course, Jackson Chourio. One of the top prospects in baseball for a reason. And finally, ending it off with the Royals here. They don't have much guys you would watch. I would probably watch Frank Mazzucato because he was their top pick a few years ago. Also Blake Mitchell, Gavin Cross. I think those are really the guys to watch if you're a Royals fan, if you're a baseball fan looking to see the Royals prospects. Not much other guys here. That was our second segment. I did not realize it would take that long, so I'm sorry. But it's just more content for you guys, so I don't think you can be mad. So yeah, we're going to go to our third segment here, which is going to be about Grapefruit League games, breakout games. The same thing I just did, but that was the Cactus League. We split it into two segments because I figured it would be too long. I was right. Yeah, we're going to look at our the Grapefruit League games for this and talk about the players I want to watch. So we'll see you after that. So thanks.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC to access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows, available everywhere podcasts are found.
All right, we are back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast. We're going to be doing our third segment here, which is a continuation of the other segment, talking about our spring breakout games for baseball, which I am a big fan of. I'm always a big fan of prospects getting their due as well, showing off their talent to more casual baseball fans. Not casual that it's bad, but don't follow prospects that much, which is fine. It's a confusing word of prospects. I leave it to the experts, believe me. But I think I know a little bit about it, so I'm going to be talking about it. So, let's get into our Grapefruit League games here. The first one we'll be talking about is Orioles-Pirates. I'm really, really looking forward to this game. You're going to see why. We talked about them actually a few times, the Orioles playing the Pirates. These two great young teams that I'm really looking forward to. Orioles, so much good young talent. We're going to go off the list here just quickly. You got Samuel Basallo, you have Kobe Mayo, Enrique Bradfield Jr., Dylan Beaver, Judd Fabian, and of course, I didn't mention him for a reason, but the stud Jackson Holliday, the number one prospect in baseball, the future of shortstop for the Orioles, a guy I really, really love. Everyone loves him. He's Jackson Holliday, for crying out loud. He's the top prospect in baseball for a reason, and a guy I'm really looking forward to watching against this young Pirates team. Who is mainly run by a certain pitcher from LSU, whose name is, of course, Mr. Paul Skeens. He is going to be playing in this as well. We saw Paul Skeens versus Jackson Holliday earlier in the season, in the spring training as well, but I'm looking forward to it again in a more high-stakes environment. I think a lot of players are going to want to prove themselves in these spring breakout games. Sorry for the crinkling again. Needed my water. Watching Paul Skeens is always a treat. One of the top pitching prospects in baseball, if not the top. So, definitely a guy to watch if you're a baseball fan, of course. We all know this about Paul Skeens. I'm not saying anything too crazy here. Definitely a big guy to watch here. Of course, playing against the other top prospect in baseball in Jackson Holliday. So that's going to be a treat. Other than that, you have Anthony Solometto, Bubba Chandler, who had top pitching prospects for the Pirates, Tamar Johnson, who's also a former first overall pick, a guy I'm really high on as well, a guy I'm really excited to watch in the future. Definitely looking forward to Orioles-Pirates. I think it's going to be a killer of a game, and I'm super, super excited to watch. I love these young players. I love watching them. Next we have Nationals-Mets. For the Nationals roster, they have a good amount of young players. First, for pitchers, the first guy I want to focus on is Harleen Susana. He was one of the top guys in the original Soto trade when he got traded from Washington to San Diego. Seems like a long, long time ago now, doesn't it? I'm really excited for his future. A guy I really think is going to be very, very good, and was one of the big pieces of that trade. So definitely looking forward to watching him. Brady House, a guy I think is a monster and an underrated prospect for the Nationals. A guy I really, really like, and I think he's really, really good. Definitely someone to watch here if you're a Nationals fan. Brady House, a great talent and a great guy to watch, and light tower power, as they say. And of course, in the outfield, what are you going to say? Dylan Cruz, James Wood, Elijah Green, Robert Hassel III. Just an insane array of talent in the outfield, specifically Dylan Cruz and James Wood. Those guys are the future at those positions, and yeah, a fan of a team who's a rival of the Nationals, not looking forward to watching those guys in my division for a long time. Even Elijah Green, a guy that was picked really high in the draft, is kind of phased out a little bit in minor leagues, but still a guy I think has a lot of potential and a lot of room for improvement, and maybe the spring breakout game can get it out of him. Going now to my team, which is of course the New York Mets. Some guys to watch here on the roster. First, I'd watch Blade Tidwell, one of our top pitching prospects. A guy I think is really interesting. I think is going to be a big part of our future as well. A guy who I don't think enough people are mentioning because he's kind of just stuck in there as our number 19 prospect, Nolan McLean. This is a guy we just drafted and is a two-way player. He is a pure pitcher and a pure hitter. He plays both. Some people have called him the White Ohtani. Definitely someone to watch, see if he can do both at the high levels of the major leagues and the minor leagues. So definitely someone to watch here if you're a Mets fan, if you're a baseball fan, if you want to see some two-way talent. I think Nolan McLean's your guy. Kevin Parada, who was a first-round pick by us, has kind of not done great in the minor leagues so far, but definitely still someone to watch here and see if he can regain that form. Fell all the way to number 9 in our prospect rankings. Not good. Jet Williams, infield, Luis Angel Acuna, two guys who I think I'm very, very high on, specifically Jet Williams. I love his pure talent. He's really, really short, but I don't think that should affect him that much. Yeah, a guy I'm super interested in watching, and I think he's going to be really, really good. Marco Vargas as well, who we got in the Marlins trade. Colin Houck was a first-round pick, so definitely those guys. Outfield, Drew Gilbert is the main guy. Him and Ryan Clifford, I'll bunch them together because they were both acquired in the same trade from the Astros. Both have a great future here. Astros traded them for Justin Verlander. Not a great decision in my opinion. I'm not a big fan of that trade for the Astros perspective, but I'm a fan if it's for a Mets perspective. So Drew Gilbert, a guy I really, really love. I think is going to be a really, really big part of this Mets future. And looking forward to watching him. And Ryan Clifford, a lot of power as well. Probably won't be an outfielder in the future, but just a great prospect to watch. Next we have Marlins Cardinals. Kind of a weird game to pick, but both have some good talent. For the Marlins, first you want to look at Noble Meyer, who is their first round pick this year. They always have great young talent at pitching, and I think Noble Meyer's the guy to look towards if you're a Marlins fan. This is a guy who can just be come up to your team and be another one of these elite young pitching prospects for you guys. They've had so many of them the last few years. Thomas White as well, another guy you drafted who I think is really, really good. Jacob Berry in the infield, a guy you drafted in the first round from LSU. Hasn't performed that well, but was a first-round pick, so I think there could still be something else left in there. Not much for the Marlins. We know this. They don't have a great farm system for hitting-wise, but always have good pitchers. Next, we have the Cardinals. For the Cardinals, I definitely look at Tink Hence and Tekoa Roby first for pitching. Both top 100 guys. Guys I think are going to be playing a big part of the Cardinals' future. Tink Hence especially. I love Tink Hence. I love his fastball. I love all his pitches. I think he's a great pitcher, and I think he's going to be a great pitcher for a long time with the Cardinals. Connor Hjerpe, Gordon Graceffo, Sam Roberse, Michael McGreevy. Not great starting pitchers, but all guys I think will be solid and will be contributors, whether it is in the bullpen or the rotation. So, I like what the Cardinals did at the deadline last year. But still didn't. As you guys know, I didn't like what they did in the off season to follow it up. Unfortunately, infield Mason Wynn. He's gonna be the starting shortstop for the Cardinals. A guy I really, really love. A guy who is one of the best defenders in baseball already, even after being up a little bit. Someone to watch if you're a baseball fan. His arm and fielding ability is just absolutely incredible. So I definitely watch Mason Wynn. And a big guy to hope for the future if you're a Cardinals fan. Thomas Segasi, another guy I think's a big prospect, and I think it has a great hitting tool. He's going to be really, really good for the Cardinals' future. When he came over from the Montgomery trade from Texas, I was a big fan of it. For the Cardinals' perspective, definitely looking forward to seeing what happened to see how Sagasi progresses and how his hitting tool goes on. Victor Scott, Chase Davis, some guys in pitching for the Cardinals as well. Outfield for the Cardinals as well. Sorry, I don't know why I said pitching, but definitely two guys I'd look forward to. Next game we have is Braves Red Sox. A good game. They made a blockbuster trade together this offseason, so nice trade for them. Sorry if I'm out of frame. Chair's not very comfortable, to be honest. That's why I've been moving around a lot, so I apologize for watching on stream or it's bothering you in audio. I do apologize. For the Braves, not many guys right now for the prospects. Kind of running thin after they've all come up, really. Really the top guy looking forward to here is, Owen Murphy, probably a nice pitching prospect for them, but that's really it. I got really nothing else to say about the Braves prospects. They're not that good right now, simply put. That's why they couldn't really make a big trade outside of really old Chris Sale. So, not a big fan of what the Braves have going on with their prospects right now. So, not much to talk about. But on the counterpart, you have the Red Sox, who have some guys. We talked about their young players as well before a little bit with Brayan Bello talk. But you have Kyle Teal, who's a first-round pick from this year, a great young catcher, a great young prospect. So I think a guy who you could definitely look towards as a future pillar of the Red Sox organization at the catcher position, which you've needed for a little while now. Even when you had Christian Vasquez, that's not the most elite solution for your catching problems. Marcelo Mayer's a stud. I've talked about him multiple times. I love what he's doing there. Nick York, Yoelin Cespedes, Blaze Jordan, some nice infield prospects there. Roman Anthony, Sedano Rafaela, Miguel Bleis. Definitely guys I'd look for if you're a baseball fan or a Red Sox fan. Ooh, sorry about that noise. Definitely guys I think are big parts of the Red Sox future and could be big contributors in the future. Phillies, Tigers now. Phillies have a few guys to look forward to. First guy, of course, is Mick Abel, who's a great young pitching prospect for them. I think could be a big help for them in the season this year. Griff McGarry, you have him as well. You have Aiden Miller, who's a first-round pick. Justin Crawford, who's a first-round pick. So some nice guys if you're a Phillies fan. No one that really stands out much, but still some guys I think could be big contributors to the Phillies in the future. And definitely some people to watch here. Tigers next. Also going off the Red Sox Braves thing. They also made a big trade last year, which was Gregory Soto. So maybe they're doing that. I doubt it. I'm pretty sure it's just a coincidence. But again, I do want to apologize for moving around so much. This is not like me. I'll be recording in a more comfortable location from next week. Tigers. Guys I'd look forward to. Pitchers first, Ty Madden, a guy I was high coming on out of the draft. I think could be a really good pitcher. Wilmer Flores, who is not the Wilmer Flores of the Giants, but is his brother. So that's a nice thing. His brother has the same name as him. So that's pretty cool. Catchers, Dylan Dingler, I guess, is a fine guy to watch. Comes from Ohio State. So go Buckeyes. But also, still a good player. Jace Young, the prospect, the brother of Rangers prospect Josh Young, so someone to watch as well there. Max Clark was their first-round pick this year, top 5. A guy I definitely look forward to if you're a Tigers fan. Top prospect in baseball, going to be top 10 relatively soon, I'd say. Sweet swinging lefty, guy who's super, super young, has a lot of great tools, and I think is going to be a future pillar of the Tigers organization here. Rays Twins. For the Rays, you have a few guys. You, of course, have the standouts, like, of course, Carson Williams, Xavier Isaac for infielders. 2 great guys I would really look forward to in the hitting department. Pitching, it's not great. Really, I'd say you'd look at right now maybe guys like Trevor Martin, Marcus Johnson, Keyshawn Askew. So, not much else, guys, that you can look forward to if you're a Rays fan. All your prospects have kind of come up already. So, but you guys will develop more prospects. Don't worry. You guys always do. It's what you do. So I wouldn't be too worried if I'm a Rays fan. Twins here. Some guys I would look forward to if you're a Twins fan. For pitching, I'd look at David Festa as a guy. For infield, Brooks Lee is a guy I've talked about a lot about. So definitely a guy I'd look forward to if you're a Twins fan. A guy I think is going to be in the MLB roster to start the year, and is super super good. And is going to be a big part of that future. Walter Jenkins, this guy's so good, so good. A top draft pick this year. Is just incredible. He was a top draft pick for a reason. Walter Jenkins is just so good, and really looking forward to watching him and seeing how good he is. Manuel Rodriguez as well, another guy in the top prospects in the MLB. Gabriel Gonzalez, they acquired in the Jorge Polanco trade, another guy I would look forward to. So the Twins have some good prospects that I think are underrated. Blue Jays Yankees now. Some Blue Jays guys I would look to is first Adam Macko, who was acquired in the Teoscar Hernandez trade last year. A guy I think can be really good for them. You have Arjun Imalia, who was the first Indian-born player to be born in the first round, to be drafted in the first round. So congratulations to him. Always a good thing to see more guys in the game. I think he's also going to be a really good hitter in the future. A guy I'd look forward to watching develop and can bring a whole new audience to baseball. That's kind of it for Blue Jays prospects. They're not low, but there's no real standouts. I think those are the real guys. I think you have Ricky Tiedemann, who is the real big guy, but he's not playing in the spring breakout game for whatever reason. You next have the Yankees, who of course have a lot of pitchers you want to look for. First, Chase Hampton is the obvious one. Their top pitching prospect. This guy's really, really good. Going to be a big part of their rotation going forward in the future. Will Warren, another guy as well, who I think is going to be an important part of depth. Ben Rice is a nice catcher. Roderick Arias, Jorge Vivas, Caleb Durbin, some other guys who are good infield prospects for the Yankees. Spencer Jones, I've talked about him for the outfield. Yeah, he's like a white Aaron Judge. He's so good. A guy who can just hit, who has light tower power, and I don't use that phrase lightly, but a super tall athletic outfielder that I think is going to be a big part of the Yankees going forward. And they didn't trade him for Dylan Cease, and I think that shows how much they really do like Spencer Jones and how much they're looking forward to him. The Astros, not much guys to talk about here. Really, the big one I'd focus on are Bryce Matthews, maybe Jacob Melton. But even those guys, they're top prospects in the Astros organization, but not really in baseball. You traded most of your guys for Justin Verlander, so not many guys to talk about. That's really ended it off here. For the Grapefruit League spring breakout games. A new thing I enjoy that they're doing, so I'm definitely looking forward to it. We're going to go to our segment 4 here, which is going to be about spring training standings. So, we'll take a break, but then we'll go to our fourth and final segment here, which is going to be about that. So, thanks, and see you then. Goodbye. All right, we are back here for our fourth and final segment on the GSMC Baseball Podcast. So we're going to be talking about here some spring training standings, just going over them, seeing if anything sticks out to us. I know we've been talking a lot of spring training recently. It does make sense because we are in spring training time. So, going for the Grapefruit League here. Top, I have it is Baltimore at 11-2. not a surprise. They have so much young talent that it really does make sense for them to be at the top. Second, we have Washington at 6-4, who also make sense to be that high. Again, a lot of young talent like Baltimore. A lot of young talent that's also showing off in spring training as well. Atlanta 7-5, kind of surprising, but they've been playing their starters a lot. They don't really have that much young talent, so it's kind of surprising. But a lot of young talent has been playing. A lot of the starters, for the Braves have been playing, and definitely kind of surprising. But when you play your starters, I'm sure you'll win a little bit. Houston 7-5, same thing. Maybe nothing much stand out here, kind of mediocre. Same with the Red Sox, 8-6. They have some young players who I think have been starting a little bit. Some of their guys have been performing well. So, good for the Red Sox being at 8-6. Tigers at 6-5. Mediocre. That's what I expect them to be. The Mets and Twins. They're 5-5. Exactly at mediocre standard. That's what I expect for the Mets right now. They're pretty mediocre. Not much to say about that. I think that's a representation of what their season's going to be as well. They're exactly mediocre, exactly just middle of the pack, so I think it makes a lot of sense. Minnesota 5-6, kind of surprising. I think they've had a good amount of players play for them. I guess they've had some underwhelming performances, but again, I want to preface before I go more into this that it's spring training. None of these things really matter unless you're seeing something really of sorts that is really bad. So I doubt that, though. I don't think it's a huge deal. So not a huge deal. Yankees 5-6. That's really surprising to me. When you've had Juan Soto perform like he has this spring training, Spencer Jones has performed really well as well. Kind of surprising that the Yankees haven't been doing that great. But the pitching hasn't been that good as well. We saw Carlos Rodon yesterday, not performing very well. So I think that could be it as well. Pittsburgh 5-7. Also surprising, I'd say. A lot of young talent there. Kind of surprised they haven't performed up to that standards. But again, it's spring training, so not gonna knock them too hard. Philly. Philly's 4-6. So is St. Louis. Both those teams kind of make sense. Not a lot of pitching, but some nice young hitters, some nice guys to look forward to and see. So makes sense for both Philly and St. Louis to be 4-6, kind of mediocre, but less than that a little bit with being under 500. So not a big surprise, and I definitely think both teams are where they are expecting to be. Both Florida teams are below them now. Miami at 3-5, and Tampa at 4-7. Both are not surprising. I think this is what I kind of expected for them, where their teams are right now, where the young talent is, who's playing for them as well. So it's gonna be interesting to see if the Marlins not signing anyone, if we're in to see light a spark under their team, and kind of proves to them, and it's gonna be them trying to prove to their front office that, hey, we can win. We know you don't believe in us, but we believe in us, and we're gonna be really excited to watch a week. We're gonna be really excited to prove you wrong, and definitely keep going with that young core from the Marlins. Tampa, again, I don't know what's going on with them. 4-7, not great, but again, they're dealing with a lot right now with their shortstop not being there forever, most likely. So I'll give them a little bit of a break. Toronto last, 3-8. Pretty surprising, honestly. I don't think they're that bad. I don't think the teams they've been rolling out are that bad, but I guess things have not been rolling their way. I know Daniel Vogelback's been performing pretty well in spring training, so good for him. Hoping he makes the team, and I think it would be pretty funny if he did, because Daniel Vogelback's just a good-looking guy, and I think is someone all baseball fans can root for. I don't know if I just messed with the volume there. If I did, I apologize. The Dodgers now. We're going to the Cactus League, of course. They are 10-3. At the top, not surprising. A lot of the starters have been playing. Tyler Glasnow has been off to a great start. Yoshinobu Yamamoto was off to a great start his first time, and yesterday, he didn't really pitch well yesterday against the White Sox, but the Dodgers still ended up winning 12-9. So I think that's what's gonna happen with the Dodgers. That's just simply how good they are. Like it's not even a joke at this point. They're just so good, and even with their players underperforming, it's not gonna go great. Kansas City is 9-4. Really good for them. I did not anticipate this at all. They don't really have that many top prospects or guys that should be playing right now. But hey, they're doing pretty well. So props to them really, and good for them. Colorado 8-4. Same thing as the Royals really. They don't really have that many top prospects, but hey, they're performing well. I'm not gonna knock them on it, and great for them. I mean, yeah, really good for them, and happy for them. Texas 7-4. Not surprising. I mean, I've made a short about it a few times. I've talked about him a few times. Wyatt Langford. I mean, God, this guy's so good. This guy's so good, man. Oh my goodness. People don't realize how good Wyatt Langford's going to be when he comes up. I'm telling you, when Wyatt Langford wins Rookie of the Year this year, and when he comes up and is an all-star ready, come back to these podcast episodes where I've talked about him, because I'm so high on Wyatt Langford. I think he's an absolute stud. And I'm super excited to watch him when he does come up in the big leagues with Texas. The Angels 8-5, kind of all surprising. Not that many prospects for them that are top tier guys, but hey, good for them. Cincinnati 6-5, Oakland 6-5 as well. Makes sense. Both are kind of mediocre right now. Oakland I thought would be a little lower with how much of a dumpster fire their organization is right now. But hey, good for them that the players are fighting back against the men upstairs. So yeah, really excited for them. For the players, not the organization. Arizona is 6-6, so are the Cubs. Both teams kind of surprised about it. I thought they'd be doing a little bit better. Arizona is playing right now, so I guess we'll check in on what they're doing. Yeah, but I can't get up the game right now. Oh, there it is. They're losing 5-1. Okay, so I guess they're not gonna stay at that for a while now. But yeah. The Cubs 6-5. I just talked about the Cubs. What am I doing? Sorry. As you can see, I'm a little off my rocker these past two episodes, but it'll be okay. I've had some problems with the studio with filming as well, so it'll be okay. Tuesday to Friday, I'll be streaming it. It'll be better. The Padres 7-8. I thought they'd be higher with the amount of young talent that's playing, with the amount of guys that are playing, but still not that crazy, still not that bad. San Francisco 3-6, kind of really bad, honestly. Didn't really expect that. White Sox 4-9, they're really bad. 4-9 is kind of a representation of what they're going to do this season. Not surprised. Cleveland 3-8. I don't really know what to make of Cleveland this year. I've talked about that a few times. They're just kind of a really weird team. So not entirely sure what to make of this. The Mariners being 2-9 as the worst team in the league for spring training is kind of surprising. I'm surprised about that. I mean, yeah, I thought they would have been much better. So definitely kind of a shocker there. We're gonna end off here, kind of a quicker segment because I took a little bit of a longer time with the other ones. You have Texas 5. They're beating the Arizona Diamondbacks. I talked about 5-1. Chicago's beating Milwaukee 2-1. Seattle's beating the Angels 1-0. Maybe they'll finally get another win. You also have the Rays beating the Phillies 3-2. The Braves beating the Red Sox 3-2. So yeah, that's going on for spring training right now. That's the end of the stream as well. So thank you so much for watching. I won't be streaming on Friday and Monday, but I'll still have content out there if you guys want to watch it. So yeah, definitely looking forward to that. And thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for the support, and it's always appreciated. So thank you so much, and see you on Tuesday. Thank you. Bye.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great.